Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. So today we are going to present to you about our textual analysis of Sherlock Holmes. So the title of the text that we choose is The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes, a scandal in Bohemia, written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle. And we choose the translated version, which is the Sherlock Holmes Scandal in Bohemia. And this story tells about Dr. Watson visiting Sherlock Holmes in his house, where he is working on his new case by a client named Count von Krank. So when the client came to his house, he realized that he is facing the real king of Bohemia, where he requested Sherlock Holmes to retrieve his photograph with a woman named Irene Adler. So after he received all the information, the contact number and the address of the house, he started concocting his plan to retrieve the photograph. So when he finally found out where Irene Adler hid the photograph, which is in her own house, he decided to come the next day to retrieve it. So when he came later on with Dr. Watson and the king, he found out that Irene Adler had already fled the country forever. So it means that the woman will not come back to the country anymore. She took the photograph along with her, and he left a photograph of her and a letter addressed to Sherlock Holmes, where she told that she will keep the photograph for her own security, for her own protection, in case if the king decided to threaten her or something. And she also stated that she will not send the photograph to the king after their wedding, because she is afraid that it would destroy her own marriage. And although the king did not retrieve the photograph, he is relieved that Irene Adler has already sworn to protect their secrecy. Okay, so Sherlock Holmes received the photograph of Irene Adler as a memento for him to remember that Irene Adler was among one of the person who is on par with him. So that's all with us. Moving on to the next presenter.
Okay, moving on, I will be explaining about the translation procedures. Source text needs to follow certain procedures before being able to become a translated text. The common procedures that are generally used by the authors are direct translation and oblique translation. Under direct translation, there are borrowing, literal and cut, and under oblique translation, there are modulation, adaptation, transposition, and equivalence. Okay, in this text, the author used borrowing, literal, modulation, adaptation, transposition, and equivalence in order to translate the text from the source language, which is English, to the translated language, which is Malay. Okay, for the first one is borrowing. Borrowing happens when a source language is transferred directly to target language without any translation. The example here is Baker Street. In the original text, in the source text, the Baker Street is borrowed into Baker Street in Malay. This is because the author wants to maintain the flavor of original language and to avoid confusion among readers. If we translated literally Baker Street into Malay, it will become Jalan Tukang Pembakar Roti. So that's why the phrase is maintained even in Malay. Okay, next. Okay, the next one is adaptation. Adaptation happens when there is a cultural difference between the source language and also the translated language. Okay. The example here is cocaine into asap pipe. The reason why the author translated cocaine into asap pipe because cocaine is a mature and inappropriate word in Malay. And cocaine is a type of drug, and in Malay, drug itself is considered as bachet or rated. So the translator changed cocaine into asap pipe. The next one is equivalence. Equivalence happens when the translator replicates the same situation as in the original while using completely different wording. As we can see here, the English word is double-edged weapon. When translated to Malay, it becomes serampang dua mata. If we see on the surface, both the phrases are completely different, use completely different words, but they are the same thing, the same object. The reason why the translator use this procedure is because he wants to send the same message regardless of culture, whether English culture have it or Malay culture have it.
Okay, now we're going to move on to the next procedure, which is literal translation. Literal translation, according to translate that when translator translate a source text by following the form of the source text as closely as possible without following the structure of the source text. The first example is where indeed to betul di mana. It may seem like appropriate strategy because it's literal translation. However, the sentence in the Malay version sounds a bit weird. Nonetheless, the translator did it because he want to show that that Watson was agreeing with what Holmes said previously, which is sekarang persoalannya di manakah gambar itu disembunyikan. In a way, he want to make sure that it suits the context of the conversation. Okay, next. Next is transposition. Transposition happens when there is changes to the grammatical aspects of the source language. The example is it looks as if the pair might take an immediate departure. Pasangan itu mahu meninggalkan gereja itu dengan segera. Here, the modulation happens at immediate departure to meninggalkan gereja dengan segera because changes from the noun phrase into a verb phrase. That is modulation. Modulation is when it's using a phrase that is different in both source and target language to convey the same idea. Where are we to find the photograph is changed to di mana gambar itu disembunyikan. Here, the modulation happens when the active sentence change into the passive sentence. Where are we? In the active sentence, where are we to find the photograph? There are three forms of language, which is we, subject, verb and object. However, in the Malay language, there is no longer the subject, kita, but it rests more on gambar, which was the object.
Okay, now we are going to present the last part of our presentation about our overall review about this translated text. Okay, the first point is the translator managed to communicate the meaning. Okay, from the beginning until the end of our reading, we are aware that this story is about a king who was afraid of his old scandal. So Sherlock Holmes is actually trying to help the king to solve the case. Okay. The second point is the translator tried his best to preserve the stylistic effects. This can be seen by the portrayal of the English culture. We can feel the culture of the English society in that book. And then the third one is the preservation of proper names. When the translator preserved the names of the character in the book, we don't feel awkward reading the book. So we don't feel like we are reading something that is very foreign to us. And then the fourth one is the translator's cultural awareness. This can be seen from the translation of the word cocaine into pipe asap into the Malay language. Okay, as a Malaysian, we are aware that cocaine is illegal in the Malaysian culture. So it is not a norm in the Malaysian culture. So that's why, because of his awareness of the culture of the Malaysian, he translated the word into something that is more appropriate, that is into pipe asap. It is even better than the original text. Okay, and then the fifth is the translator is mindful about the readership of the translated text, because the book is actually targeted at the teenagers. So that's why he need to translate certain words into something that is more appropriate. Okay. And the sixth point is the appropriate use of translation procedures, especially the equivalence procedure. We can say this when the translator translate the phrases double-edged sword into serampang dua mata, it conveys the same meaning as the original text. And the last one is the textual awareness. Textual awareness is when the translator is aware about the whole concept of the book. So the translator did not deviate from the original meaning of the text. So when he didn't deviate from the original meaning of the text, the reader the reader sometimes they don't realize they are actually reading the same text. They are actually reading a translated text. Okay. Now I am going to present about the aspects that need to be improved. Okay, the first one is the text got too much borrowing. For example, from the word Baker Street. Okay, in the original text it is Baker Street, and then when it is translated into the translated text, it still stays the same as Baker Street. Okay, we would recommend to just translate the word street into jalan because it suits the Malaysian style. Because as we are all aware, in the Malaysian style, if a street got the English name, we would just preserve the English name, but we still are going to change the word street into jalan. So that's why it is more appropriate in the Malaysian context for the translator to translate the word Baker Street into Jalan Baker. It still conveys the same meaning. And then the second one is to improve the vocabulary of the word chosen. Because for example, the word pentakul. Pentakul actually it doesn't exist in the Malay dictionary. We check it in the Dewan Bahasa and Pustaka, and then the word pentakul is wrong. The grammar usage is wrong. So that's why the translator need to be aware about the grammar of the Malaysian word. Thank you.
Okay, in conclusion, we are satisfied with the translated text because the translator managed to convey the actual meaning of the original text by integrating the right techniques into the translated text. However, there are some improvements that can be done, but overall, the translated text is considered as a good translation.